started was then capturing the data and then automating it. First, initially, it was automated it. And then we all felt there should be something for the scalpers ourselves. That launching OI Pulse in 2020. And initially, it was actually mostly to decode the OI data. Now it has more than 25, 30 odd features, and we have been constantly adding more and more features. And this year we have launched One Click. That is something which I always dreamt about, like, and having our own trading platform to trade. And now we have included BSC as well. Uh, we when we built this platform, and we will continue to do that. Okay, one thing which we have not compromised is on the quality, and we have been like keep on going in. And with all of your support, today we are celebrating our third anniversary. Thank you all. Thank you being part of the team. So, guys, yeah, it is a difficult journey, not without any what to say. Uh, Back when we launched, I don't know how many of you there were at that particular session. Anyone who was part there? Okay. So I'll tell you the story about OI Pulse. So one immediately we got a call from NSC. Okay, so we were in the session, and then the like, and Shiva, you guys needed to shut down OI Pulse. You should not be doing any subscription and other things. Imagine we being like in nowhere in the picture at that time, at least like in 400, 500 people or nothing less than that. So getting inside that, like, and there is now, yeah, nothing. Got scared that we are launching a product, but luckily we have. So today, the same NSE feels proud, and if you guys go into the NSE website, okay, so if you go to their website and then let's data vendors, glad to see our company is getting free. Okay, so if you look at it today, we will be there. The achievement, whereas like, and we have been there right from day one, and we are there almost. What is that? So these are the tariffs and everything. Probably I needed to get it from the updated one and then share it with all of you. Okay, so it is a proud moment to know that we are part of like NSE's data vendor, and we have been officially there. I'll share that data with all of you. Yes, it has been with a lot of thorns and other things, but glad that we are there, and we are making a big difference in traders' life with both the products. That is something which we always dreamt about, and we will continue to do that as well. Okay, so talking about the journey, yes, now we needed to move on with our journey today in today's session. Okay, so guys, we will do a quick recap. What the market did yesterday, it literally surprised everyone in the second half with the kind of volatility, with the kind of move it made, and especially the last 1 hour action after you can say around like in 2:30, it started to pick it up. From there, it was a non-stop rally on the Nifty, and then it just consolidated towards the late end, and then it gave you a gap up again in the morning, and now it is starting to correct. Okay, this is on the Nifty. How many of you observed with the daily expiries which is coming in, things have changed drastically? I have mentioned few pointers in the morning, like an morning message. I don't know how many of you had the chance to read it, but I will tell you some of the key things which has been happening. What are the key things? First and foremost, earlier when we used to trade, okay, when we used to trade, we never had the weekly or the monthly. Only the monthly expiries were available. Weekly or the daily expiries were not there. That particular time, you had only one instrument, which was Nifty, and it will be very very difficult for you to get a momentum or anything. You know the Nifty, right? Hardly it moves like in 20, 30, or 50 points, and getting a 1% or 2% move, except few months, it is very rare. So in that sense, getting a move itself is a big issue. Now you have that's the reason the sellers were able to thrive, and always people said that sellers are the ones who will be able to make money in the options market, because the sellers are the ones who will be creating the position, and if the index is not going to be moving much, they had all the things in the world for them to make money. But slowly things changed when the Bank Nifty weekly expiries came in 2016. And one thing which I have understood is, higher the index, it is going to be better the benefit for the option buyers. Lower the index, it is going to be benefit for the option sellers. When I say higher the index, imagine if you are looking at the index value. Okay, the Bank Nifty is trading at 19,000. Whereas if you look at the Bank Nifty, it is trading at 44, 45K. And if you look at Sensex, it is trading at 60, 65K. If you look at Fin Nifty, it is trading at 19 or 20K. And if you are looking at mid-cap, it's around 8,000 or 9,000 range. So lower the value, it is going to be beneficial for the sellers, which I have understood in the last 6 months or so. Higher the value, it is going to be beneficial for the buyers. Can anyone say why? Anyone say why? Why? You guys have got it. Imagine if the index value is low, if it is going to be 1% move, probably the Nifty may move around 80 to 100 or 150. Imagine a mid-cap Nifty. 1% move will be 80 points. Imagine 1% move in Sensex. It will be 600, 650 points. Now, the next question is, when you have an index price values between 8,000 to 9,000, you have every 100 point or 50 points. In that scenario, you will hardly see like in a 50 rupees or 100 rupee move in the max in a single day. As an option buyer, what is that which we want? We wanted a larger move. Okay, in a candle, we wanted to capture at least 50 or 100 points. Do you think in a candle that is possible in Nifty or mid-cap Nifty or Fin Nifty? That's not going to be possible. But that is going to be very much possible in Bank Nifty and Sensex. That's the reason, if the Nifty and the Bank Nifty and Sensex keeps growing higher and higher, as an option buying community, we have a bigger chance to fight with the sellers than the sellers winning the game. Earlier, I always used to see, guys, there is absolutely no wind or anything because I'm sitting in a cabin. I hope, okay, let me just prove myself that I'm sitting in a cabin so that you guys can believe me that yes. Okay, I hope you guys are able to see me. Okay, great. Now, so what is that which I told you regarding when we look at the data? Many option sellers used to say that we will be able to make tons and tons of money and other things. But of late, what has happened is the same sellers who used to enjoy the low premium regime, they have started to complain because these guys are so used to getting almost 100, 200 rupee on every strike that used to trade. Now, slowly things are getting changed. Okay, when I say slowly things are getting changed, the whole day work, whatever that they do, whatever the minimum premium that they are trying to capture from morning till evening, it is all getting eaten out within 15, 20 minutes, or sudden moves which is coming in during the day and then completely trapping them. And then that's the reason the sellers are not feeling comfortable with the current environment. But the good thing is that's going to continue. And as I mentioned in the PPT on day one, what is that? We needed to adapt and specialize. One thing which I would say, there is no point in complaining that we may not be able to do it and these guys are manipulating. I was also on that camp once. I used to say, guys, this market is manipulated. These guys are manipulating. These guys are literally cheating. These guys are operating the stocks. These guys are doing all those things. Tell me honestly, when you know all these things are happening, are they coming to your home, holding your finger, taking your a hand on the keyboard and asking you to punch your orders or anything? Or are they asking you to go and add funds? It is we who are adding the funds. We think that we will be able to make money. that all the things are like and everything is good, and then we go and play it in the market, and we lose our money, and we keep complaining that these guys have done that, these guys have done this, done that. Guys, don't believe to all those things. At the end of the day, we are all responsible people. We all know we are matured adults. We should be knowing what is good and bad. If someone is coming and taking a trade, you are taking it on your own. It is your money. You have to be responsible. You cannot be complaining to others that no, these guys are cheated. Once I entered into a trade, they have taken my money. They didn't take your money. They never asked you to first of all place a bet. They never asked you to first of all trade. It's you who went and took a trade and then lost money. So it is you who needed to be getting complaint. Yes, you will be getting all those, what to say. Yesterday I was telling you a story about the Kotak, right? What was the story about the Kotak? Sometime back, Warren Buffett was trying to buy like in 10%. Okay. How many of you heard that story? This was the news which was so like and reported on. Venkatesh, don't worry. Like, and there are plenty of messages which is coming in. Please, like, and guys, please do not get offended because one sec. Let me do one thing. Can you all type a message to everyone? Now select everyone and then just choose everyone and then just type one message. And you guys can now ask me a question. Guys, now, do you think I'll be able to read all your messages and respond quickly? Please understand. Okay, so do not get offended if some of you don't get a response because it is humanly not possible. I needed to concentrate on the chart, I needed to concentrate on the system, I needed to talk to you guys, and then more importantly, I also needed to look at the messages and respond to you. Okay, now you understand why I was not keeping like an everybody on that. Please, please, please. I will keep it under the host and panelists at this juncture. Okay? So the reason why I did that is to let you all know that it is humanly not possible. Though you guys, some messages I will be able to read it, some messages I can't. At least like don't get offended on me. That oh Shiva is not really seeing my message and he's not even reading it. That is not my intention. I will definitely like and we will have a discussion. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now, talking about this particular one. This was a message which was floated in the morning on Warren Buffett's buying like in looking to buy 10%, multiple resources, multiple sources. I would love to see who are those sources. This is like in 2008. These kind of news will be keep on coming in once in a while. What was the latest news which happened yesterday or day before yesterday? Anyone who are tracking the news? Did you see this? Tata Consumer Products Limited surges on Aldigram. Company after news published, everything happened and everything. Company comes in, Aram says, no, there is no talks like that. Huh? So, at the end of the day, it's not only the tips operators who will be giving you all those rumors and other things. You will be getting this rumors everywhere. The rumor mills will be everywhere. The only thing which we needed to do is we needed to safeguard ourselves. Okay, so you will get the news everywhere, and sometimes you will get to see a reaction happening in the market. Why I say that? Imagine, automatically, if you're getting a news on the Kotak that the Kotak Bank is going to be having a 10% move, then automatically the Bank Nifty has a possibility of moving at least 2-3% based on the weightage here. So once this guy moves 2-3%, what will happen? Immediately the Bank Nifty has a possibility of moving from 44,900 to 46,000. It will completely shift all the dynamics in the market. Okay. So the best thing which I would ask you to do is keep a track on the news portal. That's the reason I keep these portals open, right? The Money Control or the Bloomberg, any news which is coming in from the world markets or any news which is coming in from the domestic market, everything you will get to see a flash here. So Kotak Bank minus Uday Kotak, can the bank continue its winning? All this is like some news, but you will get to know who's getting into the focus news will be there. Any particular like, say for example, result-based stocks on that particular day, some news would have been there on the bonus shares and other things. we needed to keep a track of everything and spend some time towards the end of the day to go through some of the things which has happened. So how do I make my morning views and evening views and everything? It is purely based on the data which I compile from all these sources. So I would expect you also to look at all these. So when I say what are the portals where I look at, normally the Bloomberg, the Money Control, I told you about the charting, why I look at the data, and also in the news, in the international news side, I normally look at Reuters and then AFP News. These are some of the CNBC. These are some of the news portals in the global markets which can give you the views as well. So the charting I majorly use for like to see the historical data, 4 years, 5 years, how the chart pattern has worked, from where it has moved, and whether it is trying to do a breakout. So if you look at this particular one, so like this is Bajaj Finance, right? So every time when it came to almost 8,000 odd levels, it is making a triple top now, 1, 2, and 3. So as and when in case in future, when the like in Bajaj Finance clears this 8,000 and rallies are here, you will get to see a significant rally. Okay, so you will definitely get to see all of these in the charting. So someone who's playing for the stocks, you needed to look at. I think there were few things which I missed out yesterday when I was talking about it. I think rightly there were a few gentlemen who pointed out that. So I will show you that what I missed out to explain it to you all, so that you guys don't miss out. Because there are some people who have attended my previous sessions and they have shared the views. I will just show you my watch list. This is my watch list. So what are the things which I watch in my watch list? The Dow Jones futures. The Dow Jones yesterday, it closed in the flat, almost 57 points. What is the futures doing? It is trading at 15 points. Now, S&P futures, it is trading in the negative or in the flat territory. Nasdaq futures trading in the negative. But if you look at Nasdaq last night, it almost fell. It almost fell close to... Gajendra, check your internet on your end. Everything is fine here. Okay, so it almost fell close to 0.8%. What was the reason for Nasdaq fall yesterday? Anyone? I wanted to know whether you guys are really tracking it or not. Apple. The biggest heavyweight in the Nasdaq is the Apple, and the stock like Nasdaq fell. What was the reason? China is banning Apple or the iPhone products for their government employees. So that is going to be putting a lot of weightage, and they are also exploring ways to completely ban for other sites as well. So if they are going to be doing that, then it is going to be a problem. That's the reason like in the Apple has been on a negative wicket for the last 2-3 days now. Now looking at our markets, Nifty 50 futures, Nifty Bank, and then Bank Nifty futures. Most importantly, Hang Seng and Hang Seng futures. If you look at the Hang Seng futures, it is trading at almost 470. There is absolutely no activity happening here. Okay, let me check that later. And then the India VIX. You guys know why I track the India VIX. Then comes the USD INR. There are a few things which I left out, which is the USD INR, dollar index, Brent, the crude, the India 10-year bond, and US 10-year bond. So why we needed to be looking at these factors? Imagine India as a country, we needed to look at certain elements because we are dependent on foreign resources as well. Why we are dependent on foreign resources? Most of our exports in the IT sector or in the garment and other things, they will require some kind of an leeway in terms of the dollar being strong. If you look at it, always it has been historically shown, whenever the dollar is stronger, all these export-oriented sectors perform very well. So when I say export-oriented sectors, the TCS and the Infosys, these guys are the major players, right? The export-oriented sector. These guys do very well because their dollar deal would be at in a good way. Imagine a person earning $1,000, and when it is getting converted to rupee, when it is coming to India, if it is at 60, that means you will get 60,000. But if it is same at 83 now, you will get 83,000. Without doing any extra effort, these companies are going to be getting an additional 20-30%. That's big, right? So that's the reason the dollar, when it is strengthening, it will be very good for the export sector. Imagine, where is going to be the problem when the dollar strengthens? Where is going to be the problem when the dollar strengthens? When the dollar strengthens, which are the sectors which can get impacted? Most important is going to be the crude. Why? Because we import 80% of our goods, and say for example, if you are importing anything from like an electronics or anything, those are all going to be getting costly. And what will automatically happen? Automatically, the price has to be passed on to the consumers. Imagine already the crude has been hovering around 89, 90. Plus the rupee is also depreciating. It will put a lot of pressure on the buying. Earlier we used to do like an dollar buying with all the economies. Now with this after the COVID era, things have changed. With Russia, we are making some purchases in Indian currency. The same we have started recently with UAE as well. We have started doing it with dirhams and Indian currency. I hope in future, like in every currency, like in our currency is getting respected everywhere, and we are trying to buy it. That way, we will not be dependent on dollar. Once we are not dependent on dollar, then our currency strength will be moving higher. Currently, what is happening? Our currency like in getting weakened because we do not have enough dollars to purchase. So naturally, we will require more and more dollars to buy oil and other things to fulfill our internal needs. So naturally, there will be a demand for dollar. Dollar demand has been there across the globe, not only here. One thing, when the dollar strength will be going down, why we needed to be looking at this dollar index and other things? Historically, dollar index, I'll just show you this chart. Whenever the dollar index is below 90, 90, 90, 89, 90, 92, up to 92, it has always been very good for the emerging economies. The dollar index, historically, whenever the dollar index is below 92, 93, it has been very good for the emerging economies. Why? The foreigners or the like an FIS feel rather than investing in our economy, if we go and invest in some other economy which is growing, we will be getting a better deal. That's the reason when the dollar index is lower, the money comes out of foreign locations to other emerging economies like India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Taiwan, all these places. But the same dollar index, when it is keep on rising, similar to the way now, it is going to be putting a lot of pressure. Why? Because these guys are not going to be making any money, transferring it, plus when they are taking it back, it's not going to be like in very fruitful to them. That's the reason you don't see them just sending the money. If you'd have seen in the last 1 2 weeks, what has been happening with the FIAs? What the FIAs are doing? The dollar index has moved from 99 to 104. In the same period, if you just go and look at the FIA DIA data, okay, I'll just show you the FIA DIA data. This is your FIA DIA data. Can you see what they have been doing in the last 1 month or so? Overall, the selling pressure is coming in because they know at these dollar index levels, we are not going to be making enough money. Let us like move back our funds. They will normally come back at a later time. So what is the difference between a dollar rate and a dollar index? Dollar index provides you the complete picture of how much value you will be getting it overall. This is not only for India. The dollar rate is for the India. Okay, so the USD INR, this is the dollar rate at which the conversion happens. This is the overall strength of the dollar index, which is determined against all major currencies. Okay, so that is the reason we wanted this to be below 92, 93. If you look at this, I'll just show you the period. 1 year. Can you see this? We had it went above that 120 mark. At that time, almost the rupee also was depreciating. And now slowly it came to 100, and then people thought it is going to head towards the 90 odd mark. But with the inflation not slowing it down, and the job market and everything which is there in the US market, everything has been like really good. That's the reason the dollar index is again strengthening. Okay, so when you can expect the dollar index to weaken, probably once you see the deflation or like once you see recession happening in the US markets, then you will see it. So we had a tough time. I'll tell you one. Do you see this? This is like in the maximum. Do you see this period during 2007-8? This is a very tough period actually. Why? I don't know how many of you worked in an IT company at that particular time. When the dollar index went to 72, what was the dollar conversion rate? Do you guys know at that time? Anyone tracked it? Because I was working in healthcare and I was also managing a couple of large projects. Something which was trading at 55 odd levels, it came to 34 rupees. What will happen? Now, beginning of the year, we as a company, we budgeted. How much we budget? We budgeted based on 50 rupees, that is trading. So when you are getting $1,000, 50,000, you know the salary has to be paid 2025. Office expenses will be around 10, 15 or 20K, and then you will have a 5,000 rupees margin. So that way you would have been profit. Now, when it went below these levels, what happened? The dollar index, the dollar rate went to 34 conversion. Then instead of 50,000, we were getting only 34,000. In that scenario, we were only paying the salaries and the company expenses and other things, we were deficient. And in that scenario, it's very, very bad. It was a bad situation, and we had to lay off several people, and we couldn't pay the salaries, we couldn't retain the team. We told them someone has to take additional load and everything. Those things we tend to do here. Now, the IT companies would be doing good, whereas the importing companies, they will be doing bad. But there will be a period we might see this as well in the future. Okay, so please understand, this is a cycle, and the cycle will return again. Yes. So what is the correlation? If the dollar index is false, you will see the rupee appreciating. If the dollar index keeps on rising, rupee depreciating. Clear? Now you guys got a clue why dollar index, these are all important. And certain days, if you look at our dashboard, we have created certain elements here, right? We have also added crude oil and USD INR. This has a direct correlation. Someone who's trading in the USD INR, whenever you see the crude going higher, you will see the rupee is also depreciating faster, 82, 83, 84. But in case if the crude is cooling down, the rupee will also be cooling down. Why? Can anyone say why? When the crude cools down, rupee will also be cooling down. Why is that? Aman, that's what I'm asking now. Yes, we will require less money to import because the crude values are coming down. Correct? So that's the reason you will see on certain days when there is a 5% or 10% fall happening in the crude, you will immediately see like a big fall happening. And moreover, and once that fall is happening, you will see a fall happening in the IT. Once the rupee fall, rupee appreciates, there will be a fall happening in the IT. Why is that? Because someone who was exporting at 82, 83, if he is going to be getting the conversion at 80 or 79 or 78, he will lose 5 rupees over there. So immediately his revenue will be coming down, the profit margin will get hit, and that is the reason you will needed to see all these factors. And I will tell you the reasons why I am tracking this. The main reason I track this is, if there is an increase happening in the USD INR, automatically that will put a pressure on the bond yields and also on the currency conversion and everything. When I say bond yields, this is the inflation, right? Currently around in the bond yield trading at 7.17. What is our recent inflation numbers? It's around 6 to 6.5. So naturally, anything which is above 6, then the interest rates also needed to be above 6. Because if your inflation is 6, you needed to earn at least that much for you to run your family. Imagine you earn only 5% on your income, and then you keep spending 10% every month. Do you think you will be able to manage your family? No way. Somewhere you will get big deficit, account deficit will be there. That's the reason, if the bond yields are going higher, it is contributed by the crude, it is contributed by other external factors, and automatically it's put a pressure on the country's current account deficit. Our import and export needed to be balanced. We cannot have more imports than the exports. If our exports is around $50 billion, our imports also needed to be that much, so that we will be balancing it out. We cannot have 50 billion of exports and then 150 billion of imports. That means we will not have dollars, then automatically our rupee will start to lose value. What is happening with in countries like Venezuela or in Zimbabwe or some of the other countries wherein they are printing money like crazy? Why? Because their money, the local currency is losing its value and there is an hyperinflation. What is hyperinflation? Imagine if even in countries now, I think recently you would have heard about Pakistan. So you know how much in Pakistan a normal 2 BHK they pay for their electricity? It is around 750 or $800 just for a 2 BHK in a month, because that is a huge demand and they don't have it, and they pay it like crazy. Guys, that those things tend to happen. And if you would have traveled to Venezuela or some other country like these, where the hyperinflation is there, you will needed to carry tons and tons of money in hand if you're paying by cash, like in several $1 million just to buy a cup of coffee in their local currency. I'm talking about. The same is happening with Argentina as well. Okay, so please understand, rupees shouldn't be and keep on depreciating, which is not going to be. But though it has been stable from 78 to 83 in the last 2-3 years, but it is almost at the lifetime high, almost at the 80 edge. I would sincerely say the rupee should be somewhere around 75 odd levels, which should help the exporters, and at the same time should help the imports as well. At the same time, what is the in real interest rates which needed to be somewhere around 5 to 6? That's okay for an emerging economy. That's okay. Similarly, the crude oil prices for India to be comfortable in the long run, it needed to be hovering around 60 to 70 or 75 max. It cannot keep going above 80, 90 or 100. That is going to put a lot of pressure. What will happen? The more the rate increase happening in the crude, again, it will automatically translate into higher petrol pump prices. Once the petrol pump prices goes higher, all these automobile, the vendors, everybody, they will definitely start to charge higher. Why? Because imagine if I needed to ship something for 100 kilometers, earlier my charge used to be 5,000, now it will become 10,000. Then I needed to pass it on to consumers. So what will happen? The carries which I do, like the tomato, onions and everything, something which would be costing 20, 30 rupees, now it will cost 50, 60 rupees. And what will happen to you? As a end user, you needed to buy, your purchasing power will come down. Your purchasing power will come down. And government will say, okay, the prices are going higher, the RBI will monitor all this, and they will say, we needed to bring down the inflation. How to bring down the inflation? They will start to cut the liquidity. How they will be able to cut the liquidity? They will increase the interest rate. How? Once you say for example, if the current interest home loan rates are around 8% or 8.5%, you will be ready to buy a home now. If I increase the home loan rates to 12, maybe in 2 or 3 basis points higher, 12 or 13%, it used to be. I paid the home loan somewhere around 12, 12.5 in 2010 or something. Okay? Those days the interest rates were higher. Imagine you paying it, you will end up paying 5 years of additional EMI. Do you wanted to really do that? You will stop your consumption. What you will say? No, let me delay it. I'm not going to buy an house. Let me stay in a rented place itself. And if you're thinking about buying a car or a bike, if you see the home in personal loan or the car loan interest rates around 8% or 9%, you will be ready to buy. The same interest rate, if it is around 14%, you will say it's almost double. Why should I buy a car? Instead, I will use a public transport itself. So what will happen once you start to delay your purchases? Automatically, the consumption will come down. The car companies may not be able to sell. The realtors, and they will not be able to sell a home. Then the economy will come into a standstill. Okay, currently what you are witnessing now, what you are witnessing in India especially, is a current boom which is happening. Everybody is coming out, spending too much of money, and they are they are spending so many things on so many things. Like you're traveling a lot, you're spending on movies, you're spending on everything, and you're ready to buy whatever that is available. Any new phone which is coming in at 1 lakh or 2 lakh, you guys are purchasing it. So all this will have a ripple effect. Okay? So the best thing to happen is everything has to stay at a particular level rather than it's keep on moving in. So that's the reason I will tell you in a short nutshell, what is best for India in a day trading as well. If the rupee is depreciating, that means rupee keeps on moving above 83, 83.50, 84, then it is not going to be good news for banks, bank nifty stocks, okay, and anything related to the consumption. That means FMCG sector and so on. Next, If the same rupee is appreciating, that means if it is coming to 82 rupees, 81 rupees and 80, then it will be very good for all the companies who are like in getting the product imported, like the OMCs, oil marketing companies, and then like whatever the like electronic goods which we are purchasing it from China or other countries, all those companies will have. And the most important thing is we will not see a petrol rise price. Then you will have more money in your hand to spend more. Automatically the consumption will be very good. So FMCG companies and every company will do good. That's the reason in a day, earlier we used to track a lot. If the dollar index and the Brent both are rising on a particular day, both are going higher on a particular day, on that particular day the bank nifty stocks will fall and you will see the IT stocks will be moving higher. Always the money will do a rotation. Did you see the rotation which happened yesterday? What was the rotation happened yesterday? Earlier on Thursdays when we had bank nifty and nifty expiry happening, all the like a money, whatever the money which we had, we used to split it between bank nifty and nifty. Yesterday many people were surprised with the kind of volume which we had traded. I'll just show you the trending OI for last week and this week, then you will understand it. Okay, this is nifty. This is on last Thursday. Okay, see here, what was the OI just got created? This used to be the monthly expiry, 5 crore and 2 crore. Okay, that is the maximum. Now, just look at this week. Do you see this? 10 crore, 15 crore. Is it not crazy? Why is that happened? This is the first week. In spite of that, the volumes have gone double or triple. Why? Because whatever the money which was there in the bank nifty last week, if you look at the bank nifty last week, sorry, very fast. The bank nifty volume was also higher, right? It is almost 4 and 4. All those volumes came to this nifty because this is an expiry. So they thought, okay, we have only one index for the expiry. Let us bring all the money here. But if you look at bank nifty yesterday, can you see this? The bank nifty volumes have come down drastically, being the first day of the week. So where did the money move? The money moved from bank nifty to nifty. Similarly, the market does that. When they know the strength is going to be there in the IT stocks, how will they know that? When the crude is moving higher, the rupee will depreciate and automatically the money will go into IT, and then the whatever the positions which I have in the bank nifty, all the bank nifty stocks and so on, I will sell it and then move it here. That's the reason you will see when you're tracking the index, you will need to get a clue. What is a clue you will get it? The clue is, where it is, okay. I'll just show you that. When you see this IT stocks falling, you will see the bank stocks moving higher. If you see both are falling, that means overall economy is falling. Okay, so this is the correlation. I hope all of you would have understood now. Are you guys clear now? Why we are looking at this correlation, why we are tracking this? It will have an indirect correlation. Though it will not give you a direct move, but we as a participants, we should be knowing all this correlation. So how to get this map? All you needed to do is just go into investing.com, just add a my watch list and add whatever the stocks or like indices which you wanted it. Guys, those who are wanting to understand, please go through the recording again and again. Anyway, we will be sharing the document also. I know it will be very difficult for you to get grasp of everything. In the interest of time, I have taken like so much of time to explain this concept. 1 hour. Please understand this. Okay, the dollar, like in bond yields going down, it's very good for banks. Bond yields, crude, and then the dollar index, USD INR, everything going higher, it is not good for the banks, it is good for the IT stocks. Clear? Great. So, say for example, if the bond yields on a particular day, when the RBI policy announcement coming in, okay, if the bond yields falls, because usually you will see the bond yield rising or falling on the RBI policy announcement day. On that particular day, the bond yield falls from 7.1 to 6.5. What the Bank Nifty stocks will do? It'll rally like crazy. Okay, but for some reason, on RBI comes and says, guys, we are increasing the interest rates from 6.75 to 7.5 or 8. So when they are increasing the CRR or the CRR rate cut or whatever the rate cut or rate increase, that means cash reserve ratio will when it gets increased, you will see the Bank Nifty falling big. Any dovish or hawkish comments will also make the market move according to that. If a RBI governor comes and says, guys, we are going to be keep increasing the interest rates to bring the inflation down, the market will tend to fall. Why? Imagine if the bank interest rates are going to go up, people will be hesitating to go and buy it, and most importantly, bank has a bigger obligation to pay FD interest rate at a higher rate. So banks have to pay FDs higher, but if someone is not coming and availing the loan, they will not be able to repay that. That's the reason in a higher interest rate regime, many banks tend to fail. Okay. What if the interest rate remains unchanged? You will not see any major reaction happening. So the markets will be just playing on that. So how will the bond yield impact? The bond yield is like in a direct correlation with your inflation. So you get to see this, right? I'll just show you this. I think this I missed it. I'll just add this. There is a website called Trading Economics Calendar. Okay, here I want you to just look at all the countries, but look at primarily like in India. They added India, yes, they are. Now, here you will get some important data coming out of all the countries. Okay, the key data which I normally look at from the global markets is Fed chairman's speech and Fed increased interest rate announcement, which happens like in a monthly or quarterly or like in a couple of months. And whenever the Fed chairman speaks in the Jackson Hole summit, those are the things which is going to be important. And apart from that, this is the daily calendar. What time, what data is coming in. If you see this, all this data will be coming in. The foreign exchange reserve, what is the deposit growth, what time it is coming tomorrow, Friday, right? Friday it is coming today at 40 p.m. This data will also tell you where they are starting it. What are the key data which I track here? The inflation for both India and US, and the GDP numbers which comes in quarterly, and I also track the monthly CPI numbers which tells about the monthly production which is happening in the industrial units, whether it is going higher or lower. And apart from that, what else? Inflation is going to be the key one, and you would have been seeing some highlighted ones. Focus on that. Okay, so those are the numbers which is going to be important. Unemployment data from the US markets is important, and this is like a core inflation. This is going to be very important. Imagine the inflation, the expected is, this is the last one, 3.2. What is the consensus? That is like, say for example, they will ask 50 analysts, what is that which you guys are expecting? They will say 3.3, 3.2, 3.4. Okay, and if you are getting to see the forecast, it was around 3.4. If it happened to be coming above that, then the market will tank, because they were expecting only 3.4% of inflation, and if this numbers goes by 5% or 10%, then you will see a massive reaction coming in. Same way, if it is falling below the 3.4, this is the forecast. If it is coming below 3.4, 3.1 or 3 or 2.9, then the market tend to rally, because the inflation is coming down, people will have money and they will be able to spend, and inflation is a big problem worldwide, right? So they will start to spend more. And that's the reason you will see a rally whenever the inflation is coming down. So this particular data will also be important. It is coming on September 13th. Watch out for that. And this is coming in the 6 p.m. So it is coming after market hours. And here you get to see our inflation, the WPI wholesale price inflation data coming in on Thursday during market hours. This will also have an impact. So what is the inflation numbers? Look at this. The food inflation was somewhere around 7.75. The overall inflation was still negative. But if you look at the food inflation, it was like in temporary due to the rains, due to the tomato issue which was there, wherein the prices tend to increase and so on. All this will put pressure. Okay, so that's the reason we needed to be tracking this as well. Okay, but to be a beginner, like, and even I was not aware of all these things. It took me several years to understand how all these minor data points also helps you as a trader on a day-to-day basis. If you're just thinking about trading alone, it's not going to be sufficient. You also needed to be looking at other parameters surrounding it to know why the market is moving higher or lower on a particular day. Clear? So now, yesterday we connected two dots, the Dow and then the VIX. Okay, I'll just give you an overview of that before we move on. But along with the Dow VIX, I also wanted you guys to focus on these elements as well. When I'm kind of like, and when I'm doing the two candle theory, I'll be explaining you once again on this. But as of now, these are like not my major. These guys are not the hero character. These are all like side characters for me. The hero characters are the ones which I say, the Dow, the VIX, and these are the guys who are my hero characters. Okay, so we have done with this. Now I will just rewind some of the things which we learned yesterday, and then we will move on. Sorry, why not dash tech? What is that? I didn't get you. So, what is the Dow futures? Yesterday the Dow was flat. The Dow futures currently trading at almost 7 odd points. So what is that which I can expect based on this? So our market is expected to be flat to positive, correct? Because there is not major problem which happened. The only concern is the Nasdaq market fell, that is the IT stocks on the US market started to fall. But even that, you had only Apple falling big, that was dragging the index. But other than that, there was no major fall. In that sense, like, and even you can expect mild underplay from the IT sector, but other than that, overall texture of the market is good. But coming to our markets, how did we perform yesterday? This is your Bank Nifty. It has started to move up, and then it has started to move up above the 20 and the 50-day moving average, and the first day yesterday was the first time it started to stay above that. This is always important. When you're looking at a daily chart and the particular moving averages, I use the moving averages only on the daily charts, and I use only 50, 20 and then the 200. These are all simple moving averages. Here, why I needed to use it? Particular like in levels getting broken, if you are a daily player, okay, if you are a positional player, these levels will be very important. They normally try to not let it go below that level. But once they let it go, it will be very difficult for them to reclaim that. Okay, it will be very difficult for them to reclaim. So that's the reason you are seeing this 1, 2, 3 times like getting a rejection at this level. They were not able to clear. Yesterday was the first time. They are not only staying above the 20, they are also staying above the 50-day moving average. Now, my next resistance level is somewhere around 45,500. And if you look at it, this is the area wherein they took a support and then moved higher. And several times when they are trying to break down, it didn't happen. And the breakdown happened. From there, it started to fall back. Why we are using this level as a support or a resistance and all this? Because when a particular large player, when he gives up a particular level, that means he has given up the fight to someone else. And that guy will try to defend that level. Okay, that guy will try to defend that level. And that's the reason these levels, once they clear it, you will see a sudden rally happening. You wanted to see that in Nifty? I'll show you in Nifty. Can you see what has happened here? They were not even able to break it. Couple of times they attempted it. And once they broke that level, they went higher. And now, the exact level at which I drawn the line, they have started to reject from there and then started to fall. What is the reason? This line was already drawn and they are starting to fall. Can you see this? Every time when they are going to this particular level in the past, there is a resistance which was happening and then the market started to tank. Okay, there was a big buy. Again, the next day they tried it and then they started to fall. So how the line was drawn, all I need is just like do this and then wherever you wanted to play a line, just click it and then just draw that line. Okay. So here, this particular 19,856 is the level, and if you look at it, what was the high today? on this one, 19,852. So the market almost literally went near to that level and then started to retrace. Okay, so this is something which I want you guys to look at, where exactly in the previous buy. And most importantly, whenever this resistance and other things are taking place, see whether the volume has happened. Yes, it has all happened with volume. So it will be very difficult unless and until some buyers comes in and puts the money to take this market higher. These are all done by positional players, not me and you. Okay, these guys play for monthly, 2 months, 3 months, and someone as like some of the things which they do is they roll over for several months. Okay, they roll over for several months. That's the reason we needed to be looking at the daily chart to know the overall pattern. Though I am a scalper, I only trade for 3 minutes and 5 minutes. I needed to know what is going to be the next 1 month or what is the projection. Because beginning of the day when I'm taking a trade, I should be knowing whether I should be bullish or bearish. How will I know? Yesterday these guys have closed on pretty strong wicket. Okay, it was a strong buy. But today morning, if they're already opening at a resistance, if I go and buy it, what will happen? I'll get trapped. Okay, if you would have seen it, 80, 90 point, and if it is falling, I would have got trapped. The best thing is, I needed to wait till the support level and then buy it. Why this will be a support level? Because this is the area wherein the bulls have taken it yesterday, and they will try to defend that. That's the reason it is important for you to look at this element. Okay, so it is a simple moving average. I don't use EMAs and all. This has worked well for me. That's the reason I use them. Because we cannot see the big OI or whatever the OI that is being created by the FIs and nothing. Whatever the data which comes from the exchanges, we needed to decode it based on that. So we cannot be taking any like in the data wherein we will be able to identify whether the positions have been created by FIs or DIAs. No, nothing. Okay, so before we go for a break, so that we will start with the OI data and other things. So Dow futures plays a major role not only post market, even during the live markets to know the strength and the trend. Next comes the India VIX. So India VIX, I told you about the positional and also intraday. I'll just open that tab once again for you. Positional, if you're playing between if you're a positional player, anything which is happening in 10 and 11 towards the end of the day, if they see 100 or 150 point fall, 80 to 90% of the time you will see a recovery happening in post second half, because the VIX is not jumping. That means shorts are not coming in and they will use that opportunity to enter. Again, 12 to 14 they will add it, but with a word of caution. 15, 16 they will stay cautious and unwind some of the positions. But when it comes to 17 to 20 above VIX, mostly the positional sellers, when I say positional, these guys would be holding the portfolio for a month or a year or 2 years and 3 years. They will start to exit their position. As a scalper, we don't need to be worried because we are not going to be holding the stock and other thing. But we needed to know the trend, right? Imagine if the VIX is around like in 25, 30. On that particular day, if the market has rose after first half, okay, 200 points, don't expect the market to close it at the day's high. If the VIX is high, you know, anyway the fall is going to be there, let me book my profits. Usually you will see in a high VIX environment, profit booking coming in after 2:30. In a low VIX environment, buying will be emerging. In a high VIX environment, profit booking will be happening. So please be aware, when you are trading in a high VIX environment, definitely you guys will tend to trade that after 3 months or 6 months, but have this in your mind. I'm telling you, have this in your mind. So when I say the positional players, I'm not talking about the ones who are holding it in the futures and option segment. I'm talking about the guys who are playing in the cash segment. Guys, we are the only ones who are playing in the futures and option. When I'm explaining the OI concepts, you will understand how this derivative market came into the picture and so on.
True.
Okay, so then you guys will do. No. So what are the low levels for the VIX? The low levels of the VIX is this. Anything below 10 to 14, 15 is all good. Anything above 15, 16 and 20, it is all going to be very, very tough. So why it is tough? If it is going to be 10, when the VIX levels are around 10, that means you are expecting the market in the next 30 days to move in 10% range. If the VIX moves to 20%, that means you are expecting the market to move in 20% range. If the VIX moves to 30 or 40%, you are expecting the market to give you a move of 30%. So when you know that the VIX is going to be like a moving 30%, as a seller, what you will do? You needed to safeguard yourself. Then you will command a higher premium. You will say, if you guys wanted to buy something from me, buy it at a higher price. That's the reason the PE prices or call prices goes higher in a high VIX environment. Are you able to correlate it?
No, no,
Great.
no, no.
Guys, I'll repeat it again. In a high VIX environment, what normally happens? When the VIX levels are around 10 to 15, that means you can expect 10 to 15% move in the index for the next 1 month or so. If the index, like in the VIX is around 20 to 30, that means you can expect the index values to move around 30%. So when the index is going to be 20-30% move in a month, as a seller, you do not know how much you will be able to make money. Then what you will try to do? You will try to command a higher premium. You will say, if you guys wanted to buy at the money today, if it is available at the money is available at 100 rupees, in a higher VIX environment, at the money will available at 300 or 400 rupees. As a buyer, if I am comfortable, I'll go and buy it. If not, I will just stay away. Correct? But in a high VIX environment, buyers go and buy it because they know, Shiva, earlier last month only 10% move was possible. This month I'm expecting 20 or 30% move. That means I can buy it at 300 rupees also. If the Bank Nifty moves another 1000 point, I will make money. So it's not that as if like in low VIX is a seller's market, high VIX is going to be like both are equal opportunities provided you know how to play both as a buyer and a seller. What is a good thing in a low VIX environment? If it is a low VIX environment, as a buyer, you won't get the momentum. Okay, unless and until there is a trend day, you won't get the momentum. But in a high VIX environment, you normally get a lot of volatility. So only difference which I would do is in a low VIX environment, I will go for large quantity, scalp for smaller points. In a high VIX environment, I'll go for higher points with smaller quantity. Clear, guys? Great. So with that, we have also mentioned about what are the 4 things or 5 things which we needed to see up on the VIX. Market moving higher, VIX cooling down, it's bullish. Market moving higher, VIX rising, it's bearish. Okay, so today, what exactly the market is doing? Still the VIX is playing around in the territory. After the initial move, market is now starting to falter from almost 19,800. It is starting to falter. VIX is also falling. What would be the reason? If market is also falling, VIX is also falling. What is that reason? Long unwinding. Long unwinding. Can you see what's happening here? Which is dominating today? This is on the Nifty. Are you guys able to correlate it now? What does long unwinding mean? Someone who would have went at around 19,200, 19,300, these guys are booking their profit at higher level. Profit booking. Okay, it's not shorts. Shorts are slowly coming in. Always remember, once someone is booking the profits, then that is when the shorts will say, okay, these guys are not going to be taking any more long position. Let me go and attack them. Let me go and attack them. That's when you will get to see the short build-up happening. We will be seeing that after the break, how we are going to be doing that. But concept-wise, are you able to understand this? Market moving lower, VIX stable. Now, we needed to keep a track on the VIX today. So as of now, VIX is moving lower. Profit booking is also happening for some reason. If the VIXs keep on going lower and the profit booking keep on happening, towards 230 to 330, you will see a sudden buy emerging again. Okay, that's the reason we needed to be tracking the VIX. So now, market moving higher, VIX rising, that is a bearish. Market moving lower, VIX rising, that is again bearish. Today, for some reason, in the afternoon, the market started to move lower and the VIX started to go above 11, 11.5, then it is not going to be a good sign. Okay, we'll watch out for that as well. And market in sideways and VIX is erratic, then don't consider the VIX as a factor on the particular day. We will ignore it. Okay. Okay, guys. With that, we'll go for a break, and then we'll be back. We will have a lot of interesting things because it's the most important topic which is going to be coming in. Let's get ready for that. Okay, 10:55 a.m.